Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to you guys today. My name is Alistair Trail, and I'm a senior food and drink consultant working for SAC Consulting, based up in Aberdeen, our Craveston campus. And we're part of, or the commercial division of SRUC, Scotland's Rural College. And today I'm going to talk about, first half will be about consumer trends, and then I'll move on to talking about flavours. So it's be 20-25 minutes, hopefully, but there's quite a lot of information, but I'll try and get through it as quick as I can. And as I said, the presentation will be available later, and there'll be the recording, which you could watch again if you found it useful. So I work closely with our SRUC hospitality chefs at our Elmwood campus in Fife on new product development projects. So my role is to understand new food trends and identify potential businesses that want to collaborate with us and with our chefs to develop new food products. So we work with SMEs and entrepreneurs, and my role really is to try and also identify the funding that will pay for any collaboration work. So, and our role really is trying to develop prototypes so businesses can help bring them food products to market. SAC Consulting also offer branding and marketing and business advice to support these businesses on that journey. So information from the first half of the presentation on the food trends section is taken from a work we've done with New Nutrition Business. We're a fantastic company that offer a lot of information on food trends, and they've got a really good website. So I'd recommend you looking at that. And there's also information from Kantar that they specialize in consumer data. So there's some information taken from there. So the first trend I want to talk about is plant-based products. People are wanting to eat more plants, and creative product development can help businesses meet this demand. It's a great opportunity for every businesses, if you're a large multinational, all down to small and entrepreneurs. There are 6 areas that I want to highlight. The first one was snacking and mini meals. Consumers are quite willing to pay a premium for healthy snacking products. Products that you already have on the market are just packaged in a slightly different way and make it more desirable as a snack product. There is convenient snackable vegetables is a growing market, and it's a big area for opportunity for both big and small companies. It's also the beverage side of it. This has changed fueled by the desire of consumers to eat more plants in convenient ways. Taste and refreshment are key driver. One of the businesses is Goodness Shake Chocolates, which is a flavored plant protein shake made from soya. It's also hidden vegetables, or I like to call it health by stealth, which is where vegetables are hidden in food products like cookies, pizza crusts, bakery, ice creams, and they give these like a health halo, so they can be looked at as a better choice against similar products that don't have these hidden vegetables. We've also got center of plate, or good carbs, where consumers want to cut bad carbs and are willing to experiment with plant-based alternatives. So convenient forms of vegetables that replace these heavy, bigger carbs. Looking for maybe veggie noodles or veggie pasta spiral alternatives. Also have dairy alternatives. So it's not only milk, but you can also things like yogurts, desserts, ice cream, and cheeses that are all possible to be made with plant-based ingredients. There's some products that are really interesting at the moment. There's Hallow Top ice cream, which is made from coconut milk, which you can find in Asda. There's also Kite Hill almond milk yogurt. There's also the meat alternative, which is a growing sector. It's a huge area of recent growth and includes things like development of lab-based food, including the Impossible Burger, which actually contains over 20 ingredients. So the challenge for these products is convincing the consumer to overlook the highly processed nature of these products, or the perception that they're highly processed, and for consumers to concentrate on health and environmental benefits. But we're not all just turning into vegetarians and vegans. NPD is making it easier for people to choose more plant-based meals and snacks, but doesn't mean that people actually stop eating animal products. You see that there's 68% of consumers are claimed to be vegetarians, and 20% say they're trying to reduce their meat consumption. This has led to an increase in people's association with a Flexitarian diet. It's where they eat high quality meat maybe once or twice a week, but base most of their diet on plant-based foods. COVID-19 has seen a surge in consumers making healthy choices. You can see this in a number of unusual and innovative products that are currently in the market. Some of the ones I've seen are Peekaboo, which contains vegetables such as spinach and broccoli, but it has the taste and appearance of indulgent ice cream. Farm and Oven, it's a startup offering indulgent bakery bites and giving you 40% of your daily vegetables in each pack. And also Dr. Oetker's Yes, It's Pizza range of vegetable dough-based pizzas containing 35% pure beetroot or spinach actually in the dough. And this retails in major supermarkets like Waitrose, Asda, and online at Ocado. Interesting, I was just recently reading that Unilever have announced that they plan to build a £1 billion plant-based meat and dairy business by 2027. This will include the launch and continued development of vegan magnums, Ben & Jerry vegan ice cream, vegan mayonnaise, and they also want to develop their plant-based meat through the acquisition of the Vegan Butcher, and they just developed the Burger King's Rebel Whopper burger. Next to talk about is natural functionality, and this is a great way for businesses to market their products as being healthy. It's a powerful driver for ingredients and brands. Consumers' desire for food and beverages that are naturally functional is behind success for a number of different ingredients. Things like almonds, Greek yogurt, coconut water, olive oil, blueberries, oats, and many, many other foods. So it'd be great if you can incorporate ingredients into your products that are seen by the public as being healthy. It's a fantastic opportunity for business to create a new product that with a healthy or functional ingredients without having to actually get expensive testing done to substantiate any health claims. Health claim can be implied by the use of ingredients that are seen as being good for you or being functional. So again, no health claims are needed, and the media love these stories about products that are seen as being healthy. So it's a great way to try and make your products healthy without having testing or putting claims on your packaging. Digestive wellness is a huge area of growth at the moment as well. And this is mainly coming from three areas. There's been a lot of scientific developments in the area, and new science is highlighting the importance of gut health, of microbiome, and how this affects overall health and well-being. There's been a lot of product development from the larger multinationals in the area. Exciting products are becoming available and connected to digestive wellness. And there's a lot of media attention, growing media interest, discussions about digestive health and food and the effects that have. But the great thing and the real benefit of these products is the consumer can actually see a benefit or feel a benefit. Digestive wellness, one of the biggest marketing advantages the product can have is deliver benefit the consumer can see quickly or they can feel it. This is done by that to be a challenge, the 4-week challenge, and campaigns like that. Some of the other popular products in this area can be seen as probiotic or unfermented foods. So probiotics have science support, and consumers are becoming more open to probiotics from non-dairy sources. These include things like water kefirs, which is a fermented probiotic fizzy beverage made with water and kefir grains, and kombucha, which is a fermented, lightly effervescent sweet black tea or green tea. Also seeing the launch of fermented foods, things like kimchi, which is fermented vegetables, or a milk kefir. We've just recently finished a milk kefir project, which is fermented milk, like a thin yogurt made using kefir grains. Also seeing the increase in plant-based milks. Plant milks appeal to consumers associated dairy milk with digestive discomfort, and to a smaller group of consumers that seem to link plant-based as somehow being healthier for you than milk from animal products. Another area I was talking about was the adult soft drinks market and the rise of this and the low and no alcohol category. I find there's a recent presentation that said that 1 in 5 people in the UK are now teetotal. This is rising to 1 in 3 in London. So we're seeing the rise of this growing market. So this is seeing the rise of what we call the grown-up, sophisticated, non-sweet drinks that can complement an evening meal as a replacement for a nice glass of wine, or when the consumer is out at the pub or with friends or doesn't want alcohol or is on driving duty. We found that consumers are fed up of the usual offerings of fizzy or fruit juice or low alcohol versions, are looking for a far more pure taste. And this is generally being met by the growing kombucha market. Us ourselves at SEC Consulting recently worked on a project with a company called Sea Buckthorn Scotland in East Lothian. They asked us to develop a healthy adult soft drink using the sea buckthorn berry. Sea buckthorn's very unusual berry is that it's very, very good for you. It's got a lot of interesting compounds in it, but it's really, really tart, and usually have to add quite a lot of sugar for it to make it palatable. But we tried to develop some alternative drinks for this market, and we came up with a sea buckthorn ginger beer and a sea buckthorn water kefir that hopefully will be on the market soon. Also, I'm very interested in the trend of personalization and customization of products. found that 5% of UK consumers would like to customise their food and drink experience. That comes from Mintel. I was reading a recent study in America that found that 37 people of consumers asked for a meal in a cafe and restaurant that wants to be adapted, and 19% asked for food and drinks not even on the menu. So new personalised products are coming to the market now. They're seeing products in the UK that are personalised chocolate bars, ice cream flavours, cocktails, granola mixes. Also seeing the personalisation of some branding from Coca-Cola, from their personalised or semi-personalised bottles, and Toblerone with their semi-personalised packaging. Also looking at personalisation of products at the home. We've seen a success on a number of products, including make-your-own cocktails and delivery meal kits. We're starting to see the use of technology, including apps which can now develop personalised nutrition programs based on health nutrition goals of the consumer. So it is a really growing area, and one I think there'll be huge growth in the future. So we'll talk about snackification. I mentioned it earlier, but the power of convenience is a huge driver for growth and a great way of getting high margins over every single category. It's a great opportunity to adapt your current products for the snack market by doing simple things like maybe just changing the packaging. It's also a great opportunity to add huge markup for products, especially if you target the right type of consumer. Things we're looking at is reinventing normal products as ultra convenient snacks, or maybe converting your product from a meal to a snack on the go item, or taking products that may be seen as messy and using innovative packaging to turn these into convenient snacks. I'm really interested in byproducts and waste turned into exciting snacks. A company called Rind that turns fruit skin into snack products. So there's one for Neptune using smoked fish jerky. And there's also growing interest in products that promote sustainability and biodiversity. I think there's no limits to what you can do in this area if using product development, and there's huge opportunities to change products for the snack market. I couldn't really go through a presentation without mentioning the impact of COVID-19 on food trends. Lockdown saw 83% of people in the UK making changes to their food behaviour, from online purchasing, cooking from scratch, reducing food waste, and making meal times an opportunity to spend quality family time together. And there's a few areas I want to mention. And this first one was cocooning. It's higher in home consumption of food, including indulgence and reward foods. This has seen the rise of home baking, delivery meal boxes, and treat foods that would normally be eaten outside of the home. Seen during lockdown that 15 billion extra spent in in-home food and drink in the UK. Almost 7 billion extra meals were consumed within the home, with the biggest growth of that being seen in the lunch market. Also seen a 12% growth in average weekly household spend. Also seen the rise in people interested in local food and where their food comes from. 52% of consumers claim to locally sourced ingredients and products were most important to them during the pandemic. Local and convenience stores received rises in market share. Independents and symbol retailers such as Spar and Londis showed growth of over 40%. We're finding that retailers are doing 10% fewer trips, but baskets were being 20% larger for customers going to these retail outlets. Consumers also have more interest in where their food comes from and what food miles there is. And this gives business opportunity to really talk about local provenance and market their products and where they come from. Also seeing interest in health and immunity from consumers, interest in food products and ingredients that can fight off the infection, or products that help you lose weight and make the infection less harmful if it's caught. Also been the huge growth of online and everything. Online trading grew from 28% to 39% penetration during 2020 and is expected to continue to grow through 2021 and further afield. This includes click and collect, online delivery and food delivery apps. E-commerce share of food and beverage market is expected to increase by 10 times by 2025. One of the original issues was the uptake of online system from industry. To cope with this increased demand was slow, and they really trying to do a lot to catch up, but that seems to be happening now. Also, the final thing I want to mention was the food system's resilience. The pandemic's given an opportunity for governments and large multinationals to make real change in the food system and offer a better food system for all. It's also businesses took the opportunity to develop products to help fight the pandemic. This included developing hand sanitizer from the drinks industry. But it's also good marketing opportunities. Hopeful that the public will remember which businesses tried to help during the pandemic and see that in future sales moving forward to whatever the new normal will be once once things change. So I also wanted to now talk about flavour trends and what I see the flavour trends being in 2022. There's quite a lot of information in this, but I'll share the presentation at the end. I've just tried to highlight some of the things I think will be important going forward. So never before have we seen consumer trends so strongly correlated to one critical event, which was the COVID-19 pandemic, and this still dominates flavour trends even for 2022. The information I'll be presenting today comes from a company called Earthy Flavors, who are a leading manufacturer and supplier of flavourings. And they have a report they just released called Inspiring Flavour Trends for 2022. So I'm basing that on for most of my presentation now. They've identified 4 key trends that are influencing flavour forward, and these are the 4 shown in the slide there. So the first one is adopt a pace of nature. So it's looking at a greater sense of well-being from the consumer and looking for harmony with nature. And people are tending now to be more proactive in approach to health rather than reactive than maybe they were before. It's adventure awaits. There's a whole world out there for consumers to rediscover. Consumers are keen to recreate favorite foods and beverages and experiences from in the home, which they may have previously had out with the home. There's good for me and good for the planet. Consumers are more and more aware of the impact of the food industry on the planet and what they do and what broader communities do and what impact they have on the planet. And then the final one's connected. Consumers understanding the role of community has been strengthened. They're craving human connection, interactions, and they're keen to create and evoke memories. So that are the 4 things I'm really going to talk about. So the first one is adopt the pace of nature. And the first one area I want to talk about here is immunity. And there's been a 25% growth in products linked to immunity. And with the current pandemic, there is increasing emphasis on immunity, which is likely to continue. There's a strong focus on vitamin C and the halo of citrus fruits for these products. So flavors that are quite popular in this area include herbs, blueberries, and peach. So I want to talk about protein. There's an increasing shift towards consumers looking to maintain a healthier diet and active ways of life. From whey to plant-based alternatives, brands are combining protein with fruit juices for more natural positioning. Again, we're seeing product launches have doubled in this area since 2015. Tropical flavors are really popular in this area. Other flavors as well as cheese, roasted and toasted, and coconut seems to be very popular for these products. The next area I'm going to talk about is fatigue. Again, there's been product launches that doubled in this area since 2015. Increasingly, people are citing fatigue through stress as a main concern. Manufacturers are using key vitamins and minerals alongside natural positioning of energy drinks for consumers making more mindful choices of what they need and if they need an energy boost. Tea is poised to be a leading flavour in this area for natural caffeine boost. Other flavours include peach, berries, and honey. Another thing I want to talk about is focus, increasing the focus on brain health and cognitive function. Cognitive and emotional practices are intertwined. Stress caused with the current pandemic has been linked with detrimental cognitive effects. We'll continue to see more brands focusing on this space, highlighting vitamin E and B12. Coffee is a natural stimulant, and rosemary with its links to memory and concentration are likely to increase. Other flavors in this area include apples and lemon and citrus fruits again. To move down to the bottom 2, are looking from the inside out, so they're looking at simplicity. So consumers are overwhelmingly looking for simpler, shorter ingredients, declarations. Consumers are more aware of what they're putting into their bodies. There's strong focus on natural and relatable ingredients. So we're seeing flavors in the area of roasted and toasted, banana and hazelnut for these types of products. And last is beauty from within. Consumers are recognizing more beauty needs to come from within. Brands can focus on collagen boosters to build and repair existing collagen stock and support the body's natural capacity for collagen production. So things that have vitamin A, vitamin C, zinc, and omega-3 are seen as really important. So flavors in this area are looking at chocolate, berries, and apple. So this slide shows a summary of all the flavors that are seen as being important in the area of adopt the pace of nature category for 2022. So if you're keen to develop products in this area, then you should really be looking at these types of flavors. The more common flavors and the mainstream flavors are on the right-hand side of the slide. So things like berries, chocolates, hazelnut, mint. And then as you go to the more trendier flavors and what early adopters and influencers will be doing in 2022, that's on the left-hand side. So things like apple, grapefruit, honey, blood orange, moving on to chamomile, lavender, herbs, rose, and the influencers in 2022 in this area will be looking at dates and prunes. So second area I would talk about was adventure awaits. And the first is a lost adventure. So as travel is still difficult, people come up with new ways to travel without leaving home. One way they can do that is to recreate popular food dishes they've seen from around the world, and trips they've previously taken or they're hoping to take in the future. And this links closely to international cuisine. With more and more time spent in the kitchen, unfulfilled desires of traveling, people are trying to replicate their traveling experience by eating Pacific cuisine to Pacific parts of the world and remind them of Pacific holiday or Pacific space that they've been to. We see that 45% of consumers are looking for inspiration to try more recipe and new foods. And we see a 5% increase in cooking videos watched on YouTube compared to 2019 globally. So flavors in this area includes things like honshu, yuzu, kimchi, ghost peppers, and affogato. It's also the master of mixology is a big trend in this area. So cocktail kits, so create accessible excitement from home. Due to the pandemic, consumers are finding ways to recreate their experience of going out while staying at home, and also home comforts. Due to the pandemic, consumers are finding ways to recreate the experience of going out while staying at home, creating an opportunity for brands to provide products experience what they're missing. So flavors we're really looking at here is from the cocktail side is blood orange, pina colada, passion fruit, and elderflower is really popular. It's also the coffee revolution. Lockdown restrictions have forced drinkers around the world to become their own baristas at home. What I thought was interesting is that 34% of 25 to 34-year-olds coffee drinkers would be embarrassed to serve instant coffee to house guests. So flavors in this area for the coffee include butternut, butter crunch, caramel, creme brulee, eggnog, and cinnamon. So again, these are all the flavors that we expect to be popular for our venture weights category in 2022. So if we're looking to develop products in this area, then should we be looking at these flavors? So the more common flavors on the right-hand side of the slide. So it's international flavors like Moroccan, tandoori, sangria, matcha, curry. And then as you move to the left-hand side, what the trend and early adopters and influencers flavors will be looking at. So there's a lot of information there, but again, that'll be on the slides that I can share later. The third area is good for me, good for the planet. And the first I want to mention, what I thought was interesting, was fishless fish. The interest in plant-based meat alternatives, fishless fish is the next logical step. The current approach to fishing is not sustainable, and it's leading to brands innovating to try and develop plant-based alternatives. Current estimates believe that the alternatives market only accounts for around 1% of plant-based sales, so this is a huge area for growth. It's also the dairy-free market. 40% of UK yogurt users eat spoonable yogurt as an indulgent treat, and plant-based alternatives can tap into this market by dialing up indulgent offerings. So flavors in this area would be basically the meat, fish, and seafood flavors, and then flavors that can replicate the dairy flavor. So local heroes, as I mentioned earlier, consumers are now more engaged in local mindset, and when it comes to food and shopping, as they begin to understand the benefit they can have for the environment, flavors in this area include seasonal food or foraged fruit and vegetables or food local to the area. And there's the tastes of nature, botanicals and florals especially. Consumers continue to seek more natural food and flavors, and botanicals have continued to grow in popularity. Brands are continuously trying to tap into positive attributes connected with botanical flavor, such as health and the functional benefits of addition of the strong flavor profile. Also got herbs and spices. Consumers are continuously increasing their interest in spicier ingredients for sweet and savory products. Flavors here include elderflower, rose, lemongrass, rosemary, and thyme. We also had the huge increase in turmeric, and these flavors have been launched in things like coffee, teas, and also ready-to-made drinks. Again, here's a list, an overview of the flavors linked to Good for Me, Good for Planet for 2022. As for the mainstream flavors on the right-hand side, and the flavors being associated with early adopters and influencers are on the left. I suppose the main issue for businesses is that it's a fine balance in that between creating flavour profiles that are on trend, but not producing some of the flavours that are maybe ahead of its time or what the consumers aren't quite ready for yet. Of all the information I've been mentioning today, I think this is probably one of the most important areas. I can see there being a huge rise in number of products with earthy flavours. Before the pandemic, the big trend was what we were finding in our business was fermented foods, but we're already seeing a move towards these earthy flavour products. This includes the use of turmeric, which is, I think, is going to be huge, mushrooms, hibiscus, and then seaweed. SSC Consulting, we've worked on a number of projects using seaweed as a flavour, also mainly used as a salt replacement. And the final area I just want to quickly mention is connected. And the first is nostalgia, or traditional reinvented. For all ages, sweet, nostalgic flavours can take the consumer back to their childhood, reminding them of simple pleasures of their younger years. And youth and childhood, consumers aren't afraid to try new things, with some stating experimenting new dishes as their hobby, but offering a reassurance or a familiar flavour can be a major draw for old time's sake. 71% of US consumers enjoy things that remind them of their past and their childhood. So flavours, I think, are going to be popular moving forward, and this is custard, things like cherry bakewell, condensed milk, rhubarb, egg, that type of thing. Can move on to fancy flavours. To escape, the need to escape reality, awake to new adventures can be greater than anxiety, and inspire people to look for a sparkle and create an exotic flavour or intriguing flavour pair. The flavours in these fancy flavours include raspberry, vanilla, candy floss, lemonade, and tropical flavours would be popular. It's also classic under valuable essentials. With the pandemic, consumers become more aware of essential buying and start utilising ingredients that were maybe left in the cupboards to create dishes and desserts, adding the maximum value to create core flavours by showing variety of use and recipes that one ingredients and flavours can do is key and inspiring. So flavours we're looking at here include valuable essentials include bananas, chocolate, sweet corn, beans, and potato. So again, please find an overview of all the flavour linked to Connected for 2022. As before, mainstream flavours are on the right, and flavours that are seen as early adopters and influencers are seen on the left. So just my final slide really is just quickly give you an overview of the work that we can do in new product development, SEC Consulting. So as I mentioned before, I work with two development chefs at our campus in Fife, in Cooper, and we work with businesses, mainly entrepreneurs and SMEs, to help them develop new products and help them take these products to market. There's three areas that our chefs really work in. The first is overcoming technical challenges on food products. So if you're working on a new product idea, you just can't get that recipe quite right, and we can work with trying to help you get that working. We reformulate products for health, sugar, for fat reduction, or for plant-based alternatives. So we've done a lot of projects in that area trying to make products healthier. And we're also developing completely new products for the Scottish market, or developing products from other markets but using innovative Scottish ingredients. So that's some pictures there, some of the projects we've worked in. We've worked with a company developing a vegan cuckoo, which is a egg frittata, which doesn't use any eggs. We've got vegan chocolate truffles. We've developed an aquafaba, which is an egg white substitute. We've worked with unhealthy biscuits, a whiskey liqueur. We worked with a farm in Aberdeenshire to make an ambient jelly using fruit waste. We've developed milk kefir. So there's lots and lots of different projects we've been involved in. If anybody's interested in working with us, there is actually funding available through an organisation called Interface. They supply innovation vouchers, which offers £5,000 to work with an academic institution like ourselves. So that money will be used to pay for our chefs to work for business to develop the product. For these funding, the funding has to be matched by in-kind by the business. So that would be attending meetings virtually. It would be maybe supplying ingredients or doing taste sessions with the ingredients and giving feedback. So doing taste sessions with friends, family, potential customers. Also, I've listed a couple of pictures at the bottom there. We also have a mobile sensory lab and product quality lab, which enable companies and food manufacturers to capture very large amounts of consumer data concerned with sensory aspects of products, especially to do with product quality. So this offers a controlled environment where businesses can better understand consumer opinions on on new products, be that could be appearance, texture, flavour, mouthfeel, and we can then do blind taste comparison studies against other products. So that is actually sited at our Elmwood campus in Fife. It could be available if anybody was interested in using that. So thank you very much. It's quite a lot of information there, but I hope you found it useful. Before I want to end today, I just say that's my email address there if anybody wants to get in contact or has any questions or would like to work with us. We've also have a website there which has got a lot of information on it, which is free. I just wanted to highlight we've got a few interesting videos on there that you might find useful. Things on knowing your market, buyer expectation, pricing, and negotiation skills that are on there that are quite good, and happy for you to go and have a look. So thank you very much.